I all the time. Yes, sir. I just remember Good morning, everyone. Tuesday, October 15, 2019, 10 a.m. And we'll be opening up this meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. They're not on, right? They are? Hello. Sorry. Okay. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Any person or delegation that is not on the agenda, come up before us and speak.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Commissioners. I'm here on behalf of the sheriff. He had to be out of town for a funeral in Dallas. We have 57 inmates currently in our custody, 5 females, so our numbers have gone down. Hopefully we can keep that, throughout the holidays.
Count on it.
Yeah. So that's my report. We also have the fair upcoming next week, and I know we're on the agenda first on that.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Anyone else that'd like to come before the court? Please try. Agenda item number 4, consider approving minutes from previous meetings.
Motion to approve.
Second. I have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 5, discuss, consider, and approve authorizing Jimos County Sheriff's Office to provide security for the fair, October 20th through the 27th, 2019, and the Fair Association reimburse the county for their service.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, again. We have the fair next week. We have gotten with Rogelio, and he gave us a copy of the schedule. We did add one extra date. Saturday, I believe they're going to have a concert, and we've added that to the schedule. However, what we've done is to help the Fair Association out is during the week, Monday through Friday, we're going to be placing a lot of our personnel that are in our office, like some of our CID and whatnot, to work the ground so that we can save them some money. I know it's a tough time, so we'd ask permission to work the fair this coming.
I make a motion to approve authorizing the Jimos County Sheriff's Department.
Did you get a dollar figure? No, sir, not yet. We won't know that until we're done, but it'll be somewhere in the below what we did last year.
Like 10,000.
Below that, we're probably it's between 85 and 9,500.
Okay.
10,000, under 10,000?
Yes,
For how many days?
for 6 days.
6 days.
It's Saturday through the following Saturday. So
How many weeks? How many people is that?
more or less during the day we have 1 or 2. On some of them it calls for 2. On the bigger nights like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we'll have anywhere between 5 and 7 people on the grounds.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? I have a motion.
I'll second it.
And the second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 6, discuss and consider a budget amendment request from County Commissioner Precinct 1 Margie Gonzalez as follows. 621-46-35, disposing of trash, $5,000 to 621-354 batteries, tires, and tubes, and $2,000 to 621-390 miscellaneous supplies. 621-350 repair materials, building, $300.77 to 621-575 furniture, 621-550 road and bridge improvements, and $1,200 to 621-402 engineering and survey, 621-499 miscellaneous, $128.47 to 621-453 repair of motor vehicles, $128.47 to 621-453 repair of equipment, $2,000 to 621-440 utilities.
Judge, I looked over all of the requests and everything is okay.
Judge, I make a motion to accept item number 6 presented.
Have a motion, Lord, second. And a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Agenda item number 7, discuss and consider budget amendment request by Rogelio Mercado, CEA Ag, to transfer $179.98 from county, assistant county agent account 12654720 to furniture and fixtures account 12665 575.
Judge, I looked at all the requests and everything is okay.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item number 8, discuss and consider budget amendment request by County Attorney Michael Guerra to transfer $1,600 from 12475 573 equipment, $1,200 to 12475 499 miscellaneous, and $400 to 12475 310 supplies.
The request has been looked at and everything is okay.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion. Second. And a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Agenda item number 9, consider take action to approve the renewal of the Westlaw contract for the Jim Wells County Attorney's Office. Okay.
The prior contract was entered into in 2016 before I took office, and it's expiring this month. It's going to go down actually about $40 a month. So it goes from like about $255 roughly to about $208 per month.
I move that we approve this,
I'll second.
motion to approve. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Agenda item number 10, discuss and consider approving the renewal rates for 2020 Jim Wells County Group Health Plan. So,
I do have, some reports for you all. Do you want me to pass them? Okay, fine. Here, please, and then I can continue. Thank you. Good morning, Judge and Commissioners.
good morning.
My name is Clarissa Martinez, and I'm the Employee Benefits Consultant for the South Territory at Texas Association of Counties. So passing out to y'all right now is going to be some reports and the renewal for plan year 2020. So once y'all get all of those, we'll go over that. Thank you, Cindy. Okay, so this year's renewal did go up 7.5% of an increase. So there's a few key factors as to why that did go up this year, including the loss ratio, some high-cost claimants that y'all did have for this past plan year, and then some credibility factors and formulas. So in front of y'all right now, you do have a 12-month medical report that's going to include the loss ratio for the last 12 months of the plan year. So we do take into account May 2018 through April 2019 when we do set the renewal. And we also do look at a 36-month basis as well. So for the past 12 months from May 2018 through April 2019, the 12-month loss ratio was sitting at 113.1. So it's a little bit higher than in the past. I know last year there was 109.9% loss ratio, but the year previously was at 79%. So last year and this year we're sitting at a little bit higher than normal, and so that does factor into why there was a 7.5% increase. And then moving on to the high-cost claimants, so you do have a county history report on there as well. That is going to include the total paid claims. So y'all did pay out, or we did pay out at tax a little bit over 2.1 million in claims. And then the county's total contributions were at a little bit over 1.9 million. So as you can see, the total paid claims were a little bit higher than your contributions. So making that loss ratio at 113.1%. So high cost claimants, there were 45 high-cost claimants over $10,000. There was 25 high-cost claimants over $10,000, 13 over $25,000, 2 over $50,000, 4 over $100,000, and 1 over $200,000. So a reason to why some of the renewals did go up this year. Do y'all have any questions on the renewal or anything that I can, answer for you, in the documents that I have given?
Commissioners, any questions?
And also to point out.
So the copay's what, 1,000?
Y'all's copay, I think I handed mine out too, is, I believe it's $30. And on that summary page, the very last page is gonna show, what y'all's copay is, your deductible, out-of-pocket.
Deductible is good.
Yes, it's
1,000, right?
And then the dental also did go up 2.8%, so something to keep in mind there as well. But the voluntary vision product did stay the same, so no change on that one as well.
So what goes against the deductible? I sometimes get confused, when you go see.
Yeah, so your deductible is gonna be basically what you're paying out of pocket. So any of the services that you get, if you are going into your primary care physician, you're gonna pay a copay. That doesn't go into your
It doesn't matter
deductible.
whether you go to the emergency or the hospital or.
No, so your emergency room will also have a copay, however, any of the services that you receive, the cost of those services all fall into your deductible. Once you meet that deductible, then you have a co-share amount of 80%, meaning that the plan comes in and pays out at 80%, and you, the member, would pay out at 20% of that cost. Once you meet that.
So the 20% can go against your deductible?
The 20% is just it can go towards your out-of-pocket.
Yeah.
So you also have an out-of-pocket, so it's kind of like a separate bucket. Does that kind of make sense?
It makes no sense, but, thank God I haven't been there, but sometimes, they charge you and they don't understand anything.
Right.
When
So,
it stops.
yeah, and I certainly can come out and do some presentations as well so that we can get a clear, understanding of it, and maybe help lower some of those claims as well in the end, so.
So did you say that your copay go against your deductible?
They do not, so your copay is just what you're paying out of pocket, yes.
So it's early it's better than early in the year to start.
Yes, it's early to
Scheduling
it's best to meet your deductible earlier in the year so that your plan is paying out throughout the year. But if you need it at the end of the year, then it's gonna start over on January 1st, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Yes,
It's just an increase of 40 cents per issue for you, right?
Yes, I believe so. I don't
Yeah.
remember. 49.
And that is already incorporated into the budget. It's already in the budget.
Commissioners, any other questions? Cindy, I know Cindy does a great job of keeping us abreast of some of the plans
Mhm.
when you're not able to.
Yeah, no, that's.
Pretty straightforward.
I guess to let the court know, I know I've expressed to the judge that, working with, staff and Blue Cross, they have great customer service, and it's very rare that we have some kind of employee that has an issue or has a question about, paying a bill. But I just direct them to Clarissa or the in-house representative, and they take care of it, and it gets taken care of right away. So we appreciate that.
Yes, thanks for your help and your assistance.
Thank you all.
I think we appropriated
We did,
The difference,
but
right?
yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't know.
that's already in the budget.
Yeah, we don't know the exact cost whenever we do the budget, but we just, I get reports prior and kind of anticipate what the increase would be, and so we incorporated it.
It's incorporated into the budget, right?
I make a motion to approve the renewal rate.
I'll second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. Thank you, ma'am, very
Thank
much.
you all.
Appreciate it. Agenda item number 11, consider and take action to authorize county judge to execute a lease purchase agreement for a 2020 Mack GR 640 dump truck for use by Precinct 3 Road and Bridge Department.
Yeah, that's my truck, and that I had. And the cost, I'm probably worried about the money. So best scenario is lease.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion on the floor.
second.
And a second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. Agenda item number 12, discuss and consider budget request from county judge transfer From 12/409/403, consultant services, 5,000. 12/409/427, Compass and Associations, 1,000. 12/426/400, 01 attorney fees, juvenile, 7,000. 12/5/10/332, cleaning and janitorial, 10,000. 12/5/10/575, furniture and fixtures, 1,000. 12/5/10/460, rental space, 10,000. 12/409/499/10. Wayne, 1,700. And 12/409/499/85, child safety payments, 25,000. Transfer to 12/409/310. Office supplies, 10,000. 12/409/499, miscellaneous, 1,000. 12/5/10/580, buildings and improvements, 20,000. 12/409/402, engineering and services, 1,000. 12/673/573, equipment, 1,000. 12/409/499/50, autopsy, 25,000. And 12/650/590, law books purchase, 2,700.
Judge, I just have a couple of things I'm gonna change on it.
Yes, sir.
The first one is 12/5/10/332.00, retaining supplies.
Yes, sir.
Instead of -1,000, it'll be -7,300. And we'll eliminate the law books, for the 2,700. I'll get with you all and we'll take care of it in another match.
I'll make a motion to accept item number 12 with the changes made.
You got that, did it?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Louis, for your help. Agenda item number 13, discuss and approve budget amendment request from Commissioner of the Gonzalez Precinct 4 to transfer $1,200 from 24/6/24/486/15 contract labor repairs to 24/6/24/390 miscellaneous supplies, 1,200 from 24/6/24/580 buildings and improvements to 24/6/24/499 miscellaneous, 15,000 from 24/6/24/573 equipment to 24/6/24/453 repair and equipment.
Look at the request, Judge, and everything is okay.
Motion to approve. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 14, presentation from Valerie Bettis with Washington National Cancer, Heart, Stroke, and Accident Hospital and Life.
Hi.
Hello, good morning, Ms. Bettis.
Hi. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me. This is the first time I've ever done this, so bear with me. I was able to bring a few statistics with me. Unfortunately, I'm not going to discuss everything. Heart attack, stroke, heart disease, and all that stuff will never end. So I went ahead and just printed out the most major important ones that, as much as we don't like to talk about it, but it does happen. Gentlemen, if y'all want to share. And my ladies, if y'all want to share. And if anybody else wants to go ahead and pay attention and join in, by all means. Now, my name is Valerie. I work for Washington National. What we do is that we do supplemental insurance. Basically, it's a supplement to the supplement that you, depending on the age and health insurance that we have. Now, the first page, if y'all want to follow along with me, 1 out of 3 people are expected to be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. More than 1.7 million of Americans are expected to be diagnosed with cancer this year. But luckily, the good news is, with today's medical field evolving, new medicine technology, we've been able to survive that with a 69% rate, and that's all according to the American Cancer Society. If you want to flip to the next page. Now, when it comes to battling cancer, you develop 2 types of expenses. You have a medical expense, and then you have a non-medical expense. Your medical expense is going to be your health insurance. That pays directly to the doctor, directly to the hospital. Now, your non-medical expense is everything else that you're going to end up paying out of your own pocket. So when it comes to battling cancer, 100%, unfortunately 60% is out-of-pocket expenses. Now, if you want to flip to the next page, a few examples of those out-of-pocket expenses is depending on your insurance shortfall. You have to meet a deductible before your insurance takes it. You have co-payments and then benefit limitations, where you end up paying anywhere from 60 to 80%, and then you're responsible for the rest. That's the 20%. Then you have special expenses. transportation. I know maybe some of us who may have a loved one or have experienced someone go through a cancer, have transportation in case you want to go to MD Anderson. Hotel stay, special diet, family care, and then you have living expenses. Just because you get diagnosed with cancer don't mean the bill stops. You still have house payments, car payments, utilities, and everything else like that. And then the loss of income. That's a big one, and that can go in many ways. For example, if I were to get diagnosed with cancer, God forbid, not only do I have to stop working, but then my spouse would stop working, families, kids. I mean, the way I see it is that just because one person in the family member is diagnosed with cancer doesn't mean it's just that one person battling. Everybody else battles it as well. The whole family does. You want to flip to the next page? Now, a few examples of out-of-pocket expenses, how people deal with it is that they either draw out of their life savings, they sell assets, houses, properties, land, or they buy supplemental insurance, which is exactly what this is right here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and we'll go through this. So if you want to go all the way to the first page, all the way to the top. Yes. Now, the benefits of this brochure is simply a gauge or a guide of what you were to receive if you were to use our policy. Now, obviously statistics show that 60% of cancer is out-of-pocket expenses. That's important because Cancer A Plus is going to pay regardless of any other insurance, and it's going to pay in cash directly to you or whomever you choose. Now, the first page is going to be this one right here. As soon as upon diagnosis, as soon as the doctor says that you have cancer, we're going to send you a lump sum of $7,500. That is your money. You decide whatever you want to do with it. Transportation copay, a deductible, a certain treatment that your health insurance is going to pay. That's yours. You decide whatever you need to do with it. And then we have a reoccurring benefit. Most health insurance don't have it, or supplemental don't have it. But the way it works is that every year that you are cancer-free, you're accumulating 10% up to 50%. So if cancer were to strike back, you have up to 50% of your lump sum, again, to get you started. Scroll a little down. And then from there, you're going to have your inpatient benefits kick in. The first 90 days, we are going to pay you $1,000 per day. Now, if in case you're in the hospital longer than the 90 days, you're going to look down here to the inpatient hospital extended benefits from day 91 to 180. We're going to double it up to $2,000. From day 181 to the very max, as long as you're in the hospital getting treated, we'll go ahead and pay $2,500 per day. You have blood and plasma, that pays you $200 per day. ICU, the $200 per day, and then you have your sub-acute, $1,250. You want to go a little up for me, please? Inpatient, attending physician, that's going to be your doctor, pays $200 per day. Private nurse, $200. Skilled nursing facility, extended care, that's going to be your therapy or your rehab, will pay $300 per day. Observation unit, normally nowadays they like to keep you for observation for up to 72 hours. We'll go ahead and pay $300 per day as well. And then a little bit to the bottom. Hospice, as much as we don't like to think about it, but if it comes to that, we'll also pay $250 per day. Next page. Surgical benefits, depending upon the surgery, we pay anywhere from $500 to $25,000, again, depending on the surgery that you're going to have. Skin cancer will pay a couple hundred, as opposed to maybe brain cancer, you will actually pay a lot more than that. What I like to point out is for us ladies, but also gentlemen with wives and daughters, we pay, this benefits include reconstructive breast surgery. You have up to 3 years for that to claim on it. I know normally we don't like to think about it. You know, I just want to have the surgery, get rid of it, and you have up to 3 years to go ahead and have that as well. Anesthesia pays 25%, so it could be up to the $6,250. Second or third opinion, which I recommend just because one doctor says you need the surgery, doesn't mean the second or the third one will agree. So for opinion, we'll pay $600. Your cancer benefits kick in. Bone marrow, the first one we pay $35,000, the second $10,000. Stem cell transplant is $10,000, and then on to the next column, that's going to be your main treatment. Radiation chemo, we pay $625 per day. Then you have your pills, pain medication, anti-nausea, and the chemo pills. We also pay, that's going to be per month. First 36 months is $5, 36 to 60 is $250, 61 to 120 is $100. And then immunotherapy and hormonal therapy. Do y'all know what immunotherapy is? Yes? Okay, well, sure, if y'all may notice the doctor who created it is actually from here from Alice. So, Immunotherapy, just as important as chemo and radiation, immunotherapy is a really good one. We also pay by the month. For 36 is $500, and from 36 to 60 is a $250. Another good benefit we have is that we pay upon experimental treatments as long as it is FDA approved. Next page, travel benefits. Like I said, if you ever wanna travel through ambulance, we pay per one-way trip, $12.50. For the family member and the insured, we pay per mile, 75 cents per mile. If you decide to go on the plane, bus, or train, we pay the ticket up to the $5,000. Family member lodging, for the family member that's gonna be attending with you, we pay them as well $100 per day. Lower, that's gonna be your wellness benefit, no lifetime maximum. For every year that we go get our annual checkup, I'm pretty sure we all already do that, we go ahead and pay you a benefit of $100 per year. Extra protection up to $30,000. These are riders, this is depending upon you. In case that lump sum benefit rider, that's the $7,500 that I explained to you first upon diagnosis. In case you want to increase it, you can. Another $1,000 to all the way up to $30,000. And again, you will receive 100% of it as soon as upon diagnosis. And then again, your reoccurrence benefit, like I said, for every year that we are cancer-free, you're accumulating 10% up to 50%. So if cancer were to come back, you have up to 50% on that. The next one is critical illness lump sum benefit rider. Again, you decide either $1,000 coverage up to $30,000, but if any of the above were to occur, a major organ transplant, paralysis, blindness, we go ahead and pay you 100% of your lump sum. Coma, diabetic amputation, we go ahead and pay you 50% of it, and then Alzheimer's disease, deafness, end-stage renal failure will be 25% of it. Okay. Cancer A+, the advantages is that of these benefits are paid in cash directly to you or whomever you choose. They pay regardless of any other insurance you have. You can have as many insurance as you like, we're still gonna pay you. Benefits are not reduced as we get older. I know a lot of policies or insurance, they kind of reduce your benefits as you age. We don't do that. And then our certificate actually covers you, your spouse, and any children under the age of 26, living in the same household. For family plans, we could add a newborn without additional cost. Another good one is your premiums do not increase as the age or as we get older. And then your certificate is guaranteed renewable for life. Next page. This is called the cash value benefit. Now, a lot of companies don't necessarily do this, but we do. The way it works is, I'll use me as an example. 30 years old, so I'm above the age of 55 and younger. My policy is going to mature after 25 years, a cash value. I'm going to receive, after 25 years, 100% of all the premiums I've paid into my policy. Now, I make a small claim, a little scare here and there, like skin cancer or etc., and I claim a couple hundred, maybe thousands. Then they're going to pay me the difference of what I paid. Now, God forbid, I do end up getting diagnosed, and I end up collecting anywhere from $200,000, $300,000, maybe even $400,000. In this case, I won't receive anything, but then again, I'm going to claim a lot more than what I paid into it, and then the policy did pay more than what it was intended to. I mean, it did what it was intended to. So, the way this works is that, I know in the beginning I probably mentioned that there is other benefit levels, so the last page. The way this works is that it goes by your age and every insurance, and then there's also as many level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on the level that you choose, that's the benefit that you will receive. What I just showed you is the level 5. And that is the cancer plan. We also offer heart, stroke, and heart disease. That's another completely different policy. Hospital Assure, the way Hospital Assure works is that those that don't have health insurance, that one's a really good one. And I have 2 accident policies. One of them has a disability benefit, and the other one has a small life insurance benefit. And then we also do life, but I don't normally promote that a lot, normally because life insurance is obviously for when you pass away, and either for your burial or to leave for your children all that debt. In this case, I like to mostly concentrate on the cancer, heart, and stroke because statistically, you're going to get one of those 3. The question is when and which one. So, any questions? they're in,
for our employees?
yes,
That's something
definitely.
that would, I guess, through our HR department, we can always, or how would we make this available to our employees? How would you be able to access it? Maybe we have to during enrollment or anything, or?
Is this gonna be payroll deducted?
Now, there's
Or
two
would you
options.
take it?
If you wanted payroll deducted, some of the stuff, the way that works, what I just explained to you, is gonna, okay, this is individual. The way we normally do business is that Washington National does business normally to farmers and ranchers. That's how we started it off. And then we bought out 2 companies, so now we kind of go out there and kind of explain to them.
So
This is
you
your
would
policy,
collect,
your
you would
benefit.
collect from the individual yourself?
So at that point, it would be up to the elected official
So
for her to
that's-
go to each department.
Right.
It has nothing to do with
Mhm.
It's not gonna go through payroll, that's different.
It won't go through payroll, yeah. Now, if you want it, it's gonna be completely a different policy.
We don't want it.
Yeah, no, yeah, no. So, yeah, it will be.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
So then you can make
I
it
can
so
see it.
So you can make a presentation for the
Yes.
employees.
to the employees.
Thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good job.
Thank you.
Have a great day, ma'am.
Is your information on here?
I can go ahead and leave it. I was gonna plan on leaving some brochures for you guys with my information, and then you can kind of go on there. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then later on I'll pass them out.
Agenda item number 15, consider to take action to approve the resolution recognizing October 2019 as Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month. Okay, do you have a resolution?
Maybe I can, you want me to read it?
If you don't mind.
Okay. Let me get up here. And by the way, Carlos, sent his apologies. This was something both of our offices did last Wednesday at the, national, night that we had here for domestic violence. He's got some people from the state that are in his office right now, so he couldn't make it down. Resolution recognizing October 2019 as Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month. Whereas domestic violence affects every person in Jim Wells County, Texas, either as a victim, survivor of domestic violence, or as a family member, significant other, friend, neighbor, or coworker. And whereas this year's national theme, Domestic Violence in Underserved Communities, personifies our commitment to serving domestic violence survivors by acknowledging, invigorating, and rededicating ourselves to the goal of eliminating domestic violence. And whereas we are working to provide quality services and assistance to domestic violence survivors, responding to emergency calls and criminal justice proceedings. And whereas domestic violence programs and other professionals and advocates of nonviolence have joined together to support each other in our work and to provide Jim Wells County and the state of Texas and our citizens with information on domestic violence. And whereas during the month of October, the District Attorney of the 79th Judicial District and the Jim Wells County Attorney's Office will be intensifying efforts to promote public understanding of family violence and increase sensitivity to victims of family violence, emphasizing the need for citizen involvement in efforts to reduce family violence. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jim Wells County Commissioners Court hereby recognizes October 2019 as Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month and call upon our citizens and government agencies to recommit and rededicate ourselves to the goal of eliminating domestic violence.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra. Judge, I'd like to make a comment. Mr. Guerra, I was here in that meeting Mr. Garcia had, yourself and the sheriff, and it was excellent, but I wanted to see if you could touch up a little bit on something you mentioned that was quite important on the numbers that had increased.
Right.
But it wasn't the fact because of negative, it was because of the fact that, you want to touch up on that?
The communication and education, we feel that, yes, and the numbers, 2017, our office handles protective orders, which, you know, if something happens and they end up at the jail, usually the next morning, we have the victim in our office seeking a protective order. So we try to move on that as quickly as possible so that we can get the offender served before he makes bond. And in other cases, we work with the sheriff's department to try to get a temporary hold with the magistrates to try to get an emergency protection order. And, but if we can't do that, then we do the temporary protective order. In 2017, we filed 66. Last year, we filed 72. This year, of course, we only have 3/4 of the year worth of data, but we're on a path to file 96 cases this year. So what does the data tell us? Does that mean that there is more domestic violence happening? And, you know, in discussing that with some other prosecutors in South Texas, I spoke to Tamara Cochran-May. She's the county attorney in San Patricio County. I spoke to Mark Gonzalez, also to Mr. Gutierrez in San Diego. And we kind of agree that this may be more a function of not that there is more domestic violence happening. It's always been there. I don't know that the rates are necessarily going up, but I think programs like the one we had the other night,
Y'all are doing a pretty good job.
like this, we're educating and communicating to people that there are options and that it's okay to come forward and ask for help. And so it may be more, and we're hopeful that that's the case, that it's more a function of education is changing attitudes, and people are not hesitant to come forward now.
That's a good point, to remove the stigma of not wanting to come to your local prosecutor or protection.
Right.
Yeah, that's the idea, is to lift, once we lift the stigma, there will be a lot of increase of participation. So yeah, the numbers will go up before the underlying problem is addressed, but that's for other agencies out there for us to implement, which we talked about, but it's important to address.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a really important thing when you said that, yes, the numbers were going up, but it's not normally because of negative reasons. They've always been there, but it's people coming in and getting
Asking for help,
asking
assistance.
for help, and it's through programs like this that you guys are putting out there that makes people aware.
Yes, sir.
It's great people, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra.
I'd like to make a motion to, do we have to?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept the proclamation as presented by Mr. Guerra.
A motion on the floor, the second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Agenda number 16, consider take action to enter into a cooperative purchase agreement through the HGAC with Motorola Solutions Incorporated for a Motorola P25 Astro Digital Conventional Radio System for use by law enforcement and emergency responders.
Judge, Commissioners, I have a senior representative from Motorola here, and Mr. Mark Jacobs, who works for Golden Crescent. We presented a plan. I know we met at the office, and we've done some.
I want to apologize for not having returned your call last week, but
No problem.
I know I had a message in or a call from you, and I know that we have met with a gentleman
Yes.
some time back. I'm sorry to interrupt, but go ahead.
No, a presentation was made, and I think this is something that the county needs to move forward with. In the past, you know, being here for the last 22 years with the sheriff's office, and I know Captain Barrera here, the same thing. We've had nothing but issues with our radio systems. We had, the very first one we had was E.F. Johnson. That didn't work out. A lot of grant money was spent on those. Second time around, we went with Tate. There was a consultant that was hired. At that time, Motorola made an offer, and their bid was a little higher. But they are proven. They've been in the business for over 90 years. It's every type of radio that we have in our cars and in the patrol guys. That's what all they carry is Motorola. In the cars, that's what we have is Motorola. And you'll find that a lot of the agencies that's basically what they carry. The Tate system, I know that we met. It's gone down several times. We're spending a lot of money to put Band-Aids on it, and I think it's time that I know that we looked at it, and it's time to move forward on a new system that can be proven. And the thing is it's a lot easier to get parts and do maintenance on a system that is built by Motorola because they're the leading provider in the country. So, if you have any technical questions or anything like that?
We have a gentleman here. Technical, well, it's very technical, so unless you're an expert, the only, I know Mr. Guerra was there present also, and we were a group of us that entertained the presentation on that matter, so,
there might have been some question as to whether or not this will work with, analog radios, with
well,
other
that did come up, I mean,
Whether
it's compatible, and that was a concern that came from the fire department, the city of Alice. That's why I wanted to mention it right now, because.
And in fact, Alice Fire is using Motorola radios.
So where's the communication tower come in?
The communication towers, so the three towers that we currently have, Orange Grove, Fremont, and Alice, the problem that is right now that because of the three tower sites and the way the county is built, there really needs to be 5 sites. So what Motorola came in and then looked at it and said, well, later on in a different phase, we can build 2 more sites, but we can accomplish what we need as far as the portable coverage is concerned in these 3 areas by going to this particular type of system where if you're in the Orange Grove area, you switch to an Orange Grove channel. If you're in the Alice area, you switch to an Alice channel and vice versa, Fremont channel. And you would have portable coverage throughout the entire county. Eventually, you build the other 2 sites, because you still have to, you've got to apply for FCC licenses, you've got to look for tower sites, you've got to make sure the buildings are in place, like what we had done with the originally in these other areas. And you build a second phase, and then you tie them all together into a simulcast system that would allow you no longer have to necessarily go to Orange Grove or to Fremont. You can just stay on Vimlo's primary, and it goes across. Now, the ability to do that is still here because you can patch in a channel. So if you're in the Orange Grove area or you have a pursuit in Alice that goes towards Orange Grove, you can always patch the channel in, the Orange Grove and Alice, and they basically talk to each other, and you're patching in those channels. Now that gets a little technical, and that's something that.
Yeah, your dispatcher will be able to do that. So the main thing we attacked on this first phase is your fundamental issue, which is coverage in the county, and portable coverage. And we design our system so that when you get out of your vehicle, out of your apparatus, we want your portable coverage to be equal to your mobile coverage. Because the last thing we want you to do is get untethered from communications when you step out of that vehicle and you need, when it matters most to have that portable. This design will accomplish that because the sites are so far apart. Why those filler sites will be needed in a phase 2 approach down the road, but this is an immediate need. You don't have good portable coverage in your county for your law enforcement. This will help
a little bit. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I know we have. I'm not sure if you're aware of the Fremont Tower right now. I just got
Down
aware
right
of
now.
that. Yes. Why? I just got aware of it.
Can you go to page 24, etc.?
The Fremont, I know the Orange Grove one went down.
Fremont apparently just went down whoever the volunteer fire chief is in Fremont is. And they informed us yesterday afternoon regarding the tower that was down and they were unable to receive and make calls out there. And I know this has been happening, I just wanted to give a little history on it, where this all started from the Sandia Emergency Services District that called us out that they didn't have good communications out there. This is how it all started a few months back. And I've been aware that a lot of this infrastructure, a lot of these towers, a lot of the equipment is way outdated, and I know I saw the cost in being able to patch it up and come in from time to time to address those issues when they're down and you have that communication.
Judge, and these are things that came into play, like, for example, they put these tower top amplifiers up there on these tower sites. Tower top amplifiers, and I believe George or Mark will tell you, those are usually made for trunking systems. We don't have a trunking system. So now every time you have to go up, you got to climb the tower. If a lightning strikes it, to replace that one piece, the tower climb runs you, $4,000 or $5,000, and then the part to get it fixed. The companies that we were dealing with, of course, Tate is, their main corporation is New Zealand. They have an office in Houston. The Carlson microwave radios are out of California, and those are the ones we couldn't get a hold of, the company, to try to get the equipment fixed. So this has been an ongoing issue. What this proposal, what this plan does is completely
Eliminate all those other.
it takes all that equipment out completely and replaces everything with new equipment that is backed by the Motorola name.
Commissioners, the communication with Sandia, we're always having a problem. Will that be fixed to where it's gonna work?
Yes.
You need little windstorms, would knock them out. I don't know what's weak, or I don't know the antenna.
Well, the good news is in this proposal, we have a $20,000 credit. So if there are some things that subscribers, mobiles, portables, that we need to address for the county, we have that fund to address those. Because a lot of times we do these systems, and I've been doing this 31 years, we go in and they say, man, if only we could have got a control station. And small things we covered under the project, but if there are things that you really need beyond that, we do a credit to where you have that available during the process of implementation. So if you have specific areas where, hey, we really need something here, we'll put a control station in there and we'll just use it against your credit.
All right, and your question, Commissioner, and that's why this is where that's why I give you the history of, definitely gonna address that, that's where it all began, where their towers, they didn't have that. And we're gonna do the best.
If you notice, Commissioner, on that picture,
Yeah.
you see that is why we're having so many issues with the portable. The mobile, pretty much everybody, if the system is working, the mobile will reach anywhere, because it's 110 watt, 110 watt radios. But the portables, you don't carry around 100 watt.
Yeah, they're 5 watts.
They're 5 watts. And this is the issue that we're having, is the coverage.
The concern I have is we haven't had a storm and these things are going out. I don't understand it. You know, we haven't had like bad winds or bad weather, and you hear, they call me and we're so, hey, the radios aren't working. But the weather's great. I just don't understand what's going down,
The equipment and the coverage.
Equipment is
The
very
equipment.
old.
The equipment is probably close to 8 years, 7 or 8 years old. And again, the company that, and again, I don't put any blame on or anything on previous, but we could have probably been into a phase 2 already with a Motorola product, that we would have been able to have the other tower sites up and had full coverage, like many of the other counties. Yes.
Well, I think this is very important. I think that, we need to do this for our first responders. I think that everybody needs to be able to communicate. Through my office, I just like to see, a number, or how much is it gonna cost? Are we talking about several years, or?
No, we have that available, and that's what we presented for you guys to approve today. It's $724,000.
I just didn't see it here.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's in the pricing, but $724,301.97. We have 3 options from a financing standpoint. We have a municipal lease available, which Motorola has a credit corp. We do this all over the country with the Motorola credit corp. I've done them up to $14 million. The DPS has done a $50 million one with us. So we have the ability to do multi-years. We have a 3, a 5, and a 7-year. Infrastructure that goes beyond, like towers, buildings and such, I would recommend 7-10. Something like this, more of a 5 or 7-year. The first payment is payable in arrears, so it's from the date you approve and assign it, it's a year that you have your first payment. So that's how the municipal lease works. It's a low interest lease, which we've supplied to the county attorney, all the documentation for that. The 5 years, $157,928 roughly. We have the exact figures, but in the proposal when we did it at the time, that fluctuates just a hair, so that would be an annual for 5 years to pay it off.
My only other concern, again, I know Mr. Valdez, that concern with the fire department, that should be cleared up, and what do you see in the near future as far as our other entities or other local entities? Was
One
that
of the
brought to your
things
attention?
we're gonna do is they've been dealing with other agencies, other dealers that handle that. I'm gonna leverage Mark and myself to be down there visiting with them, whether it's Dallas Fire Department, the police department. I specifically talked or text back and forth with the fire chief of the Dallas Fire Department, and they had some battery issues, they had some things, and I wanna thoroughly go through everything they have. They have Apex 7000s, which are digital capable. If they're missing some flashes that we need to be able to get on the system, we'll supply those.
Yeah, that was my only concern, because that was brought to
Yeah,
my attention.
absolutely, we'll do, yeah. We have a plan called the Plan X plan. If there's something that we have that over 3 to 5 years they've had a systemic issue, we'll replace it for free.
Is the city of Dallas aboard on this?
Sir,
The city of Dallas is, where is it?
This is our
Yeah,
side.
this
So
is
you're
the
talking
county
about the fire department, the PDs, and.
they've weighed in, the fire department,
Are they
I
gonna
think,
be
weighed in on
using
some
the system?
questions, so.
Alice Fire will be on our system whenever they go and answer a call out in the county.
Yeah, otherwise, they're on their own
They're on our
infrastructure that they
system right
supply.
now, right?
They're on our system, whenever they're out in the other parts of the county.
So will they need, new radios before?
No, they're actually using, Motorola, they're using Motorola, in fact, they have the higher end.
Yeah, their Apexes will make the conversion to this.
Okay, because we don't want to do anything that's gonna be,
Oh, understood. And if there's a flash, it's called a flash, if they don't have the digital flash, the Apexes will supply that for them.
because they need to be aboard or.
Understood.
Another part of the project, the Commissioners Court is gonna decide on all of this, but let's say that they, take the 7 annual payments for $115,556.05. Is there a penalty? Can we pay?
There's no prepayment penalty. You can pay it off if you have a lump sum come in, and there's no prepayment penalty
The
for any of it.
forfeiture usually has a lump sum.
As a matter of fact, since that came up, I think the sheriff had mentioned at one time that he would help, and maybe we can address that later, but for us, at the time, we.
So for 7 payments, it's 115, what?
155.05. I don't think that's in the package.
The first, we appropriated enough money for the first payment, right?
Yeah, we appropriated 100,000 for the towers.
Yeah, because the first payment's not due for
It's not
12 months,
due for
right?
Yes, sir. It's payable,
You've got a 1-year deferral on the
It's
first
1 year
payment.
payable in arrears from the time you sign it.
And it gives us a little time to work with the sheriff, and maybe the forfeiture, just a little.
All jokes aside, is the sheriff's department, VA, are they willing to, put some forfeiture money in it or no?
I know the sheriff's not here, but I know I'm speaking with him, he told me, earlier on that he was for the system. So if he's for the system, I think that he would be on board to.
And in fairness to everyone, I know we had loosely discussed it, and I know he mentioned that they would participate in, not to what extent, I don't know, but anything would help to defer these costs, and we'll work with that, I think. It's necessary, this is.
I can tell you on our behalf, when we start like moving into new radios, mobiles or portables, they'll be Motorola. Because we have Motorola 2500s, they're probably 10 years old, I'm guessing,
Not
at least 10 or 12 years old. And if we send one or two a year back for the factory because either the screen finally gives out or breaks, we send it back to the depot within a week and a half, it's back. We pay a minimal cost, a couple of $100.
It's obvious that the reliability and the product itself is always had.
I think we do need it, there's no question. How we finance it is another, I'd like to see some forfeiture money in it.
I make a motion that we move into an agreement on the 7-month annual payment.
7 years.
I mean, 7 year annual. I said 7 months.
Pay it off early.
3 years to come out.
Windfall this year.
Commissioner, one more question.
Yes, sir.
What is your backup plan when the power goes down on they have the portables that come in?
So,
How does that work?
yeah, so backup plan, when the storm arises, Sheriff Mills can attest in Aransas County, they were not a Motorola customer, but their fire department reached out to us within a week of their tower breaking, the Unipole at the sheriff's office. We had a system on site with a tower that we raised up, portable. We shipped in 100 brand new radios, 8,000 multibands, $6,000 radios. They used them free of charge until they bought their new system. They went out on RFP, we were awarded that system. But we did that free of charge because we are a United States company. We've been in business 91 years. You will never see that in the paper because that is against our own rules to brag that we help folks in times that they need it, because that's just what we do.
Yeah, I like that framework.
Well, I mean, there's no, and we didn't even go after, you don't even go after FEMA and the rest of them to try to help fund that. The sheriff has plenty on his plate, County Judge Mills has plenty on his plate. We came in and did it because it's the right thing to do. The majority of that equipment is housed in Austin, Texas. And I'm a third generation Texan, so, I mean, we take care of each other.
Another, have you checked with Homeland Security as far as, new towers or something, you know, I know that they've done it to other counties where they do have monies for towers and stuff like that. We ever look into that?
I'm not, Commissioner, I know that they had, the Council of Governments had monies that were available. This is what, in fact, that's how the last system was purchased. As far as the tower erections, I have not seen a grant for actual tower sites. But there's so many towers out there for the two that we're talking about down the road in phase 2, that you go into, like we did with the school district in Orange Grove, we went into a lease, a long-term lease. I know the commissioner back then put himself on the agenda, and there was a tower that was built for distance learning there at the Orange Grove School District that was supposed to be part of the governor's plan, and that's the tower we're using now. So there are other sites and other places. We just need to identify those. Correct. One between Bedbolt and 141, somewhere in there. That would be part of that phase 2, because that's where we're having the issue. The county is too long.
Once you get into a system where the system's in place, then you can identify and locate, maybe a location. You have a better idea once everything's in place. And like you said, there's always gonna be something that may pop up, and we may be looking into something like that, Commissioner.
Yeah, I second the motion, but I'd like to amend it to read that the county attorney and district attorney and the sheriff department will consider some forfeiture measures. Would be my recommendation.
I second. It's a suggestion in the motion, I guess, or I don't know if we can do it that way, but just for the record.
A couple of issues. That language sounds non-committal, so it's you're requesting that they consider, and really, I don't think we've spoken to the DA, correct?
No.
Yeah, that's kind of out of the DA's purview, it's more of the sheriff. The sheriff did say that he would be open to contributing, but no numbers were mentioned.
Yes, no figures. It was pretty loose.
Yeah.
But because the forfeiture fund fluctuates and we don't know.
Right.
And then at times that you do enjoy some hefty or healthy funds, but we can't commit, of course. Obviously, the sheriff's not here, and he would be the one to commit, but I think that.
Right.
But I'm not asking for a particular figure. It's
Right.
They will contribute from time to time.
Okay, and then point number 2, the person who made the motion? Margie, you would have to agree that amendment is acceptable to you before you take a vote.
But you said we can't use that amendment because it's too loose.
No, you can use it, it's just basically a request.
It's still,
No commitment, it's a suggestion.
It's a
they
request.
might not even want to do it, but something to consider.
Well, that was something we should have had discussed before, and that's why these things move along fast, and these things are here. Sheriff's not here, so he's not here to speak for himself, just to make that on the record, okay?
But I know that this is something that
Is important.
is important,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
guys, and I think that he would have no problems helping. You know, if 100 was put in the deal and it's 115, Yeah, I can see him, doing the other 15,000 for the year, and then going from there the following year. But yes, I see him, because I know that it's important that our guys stay safe out there.
Yes, very good. So, let's clarify the motion, you want me to, just stipulating
You
this?
wanna amend your motion and make one with it?
Do you accept his wording?
I'll accept, Rentada's wording that we would accept any
Oh,
funds that we could get from the two forfeiture funds, the DA and the sheriff's department.
okay,
Sheriff's
Well,
Department.
the DA might not be part of it, but let's do it anyway.
okay, so now you've got a motion and a second.
Okay, I have a motion, and that, y'all are good with that?
Yes,
sir. All right, so motion and a second on this, agenda item. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And all those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. We'll be seeing y'all soon. All right.
Thank you, Louis.
Agenda item number 17, discussing consider upgrading all email services provided by Rackspace and maintained by the Association of Counties, CIRA.
Commissioners?
Hey, Robert.
If you don't mind, over the attention, please. Basically, that was tabled, back in September 27th, and after hearing the Section Security Network vendor, and they have recommended that we should get the Office 365 email service, because we won't be able to have an email and the security to integrate together and be able to filter all the junk mail, the phishing email, and all the virus. I would like to look at page number 14. Right now, currently, we're on the plan number 1. And you look at the plan number 1, that's where we have right now. And we're paying about $2 per month. And we have 45 gigabyte mailbox and a basic antivirus and spam protection. But we would like to go and get to the plan number 3. And the plan number 3 is Office 365 Business Essential. And you know that we're going to be paying $8, which is 4 times what we pay each month. We double the storage with 50 gigabyte mailbox, and we have an enhanced email antivirus and spam protection. And the best of all on that one, you will have an integrated tool like Share Calendar. You can share some kind of tools you need to be able to communicate with employees and employers. And you get a 1 terabyte of OneDrive storage, which is like your backup storage. It keeps up to have your computer, or you go somewhere, you get the file you need to retrieve. Basically, that's what a OneDrive storage is for. So the estimated monthly cost is going to come around about $1,400 a month. Right now, we're paying $360 a month. But if you get 4 times that, which is pretty much about $1,300 a month. That is recommended by the network security expert and vendor as well, that we should get Office 365 and be able to work with our network security. That way they can filter through and everybody have a better email system. I have spoken with Michael Geddes, and I pretty much hope that he agrees with that we should move forward with Office 365.
Commissioners, do we have any questions? Technical stuff. It's technical above mine, but I think, it goes in hand with our security and our protection and all.
But I can tell, lately I can tell that there's a lot more junk coming in
Yeah.
to our county.
We need a,
There's a lot of junk that's coming into our county emails.
and my,
And at first there didn't used to be, it was real clean.
yeah.
Now every day you have 10 or
That's right.
15 items of junk.
Yeah.
And that's what the problem is, because we use the basic email.
And Michael, you're more familiar and you're more, well versed in the area. This is necessary, right, in order to be compatible with our system that we made to
Well,
protect our.
it's not necessary, but it's useful to upgrade it and get more protection.
And if we can, I don't know, if we can, if we're
There's no contract on that. It's a
able
monthly.
to afford it to protect like that, then that's the idea right here.
Right.
It's about the dollars. Yeah.
What do you think, Noe?
Yeah, we
It's
need,
affordable.
I think we budgeted, no, a little bit for some, or maybe if you have it, we can adjust and amend
yes,
it.
but we have had a lot of problems, we've had several issues where, and people have tried to send us emails that we're not supposed to. TAC itself has sent us where, other counties have been hacked, or they're getting emails, and they do tell us ahead of time, but you never know when somebody's gonna open up one of those things. So I think it is necessary.
I usually delete
You
it.
sent me a bill the other day,
Especially
from a guy across the street.
Yeah, tell them, would you?
It was they sent me an email, what's his name, works for the probation.
Probation?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, probation.
Ramsey.
I said, "Man, what's his bill?" So I emailed it to Robert, I said, text Robert, I said, he goes, oh, no, but
Yeah, it was,
Yeah, it's happening more and more, and,
Well, the cost difference is minimal compared to the
Yeah, no,
protection
we need it.
overall.
particularly.
and we'll all be able to keep our same emails, the emails will just migrate over to this new program.
I mean,
Okay, well-
because it doesn't do us any good to have paid all this money for a security system,
Right.
and then somebody opens up an email, a junk email, and you still
Infect the system.
infect the whole.
all right, it's gonna be, I lost it here, Robert, go. It was, 14, right?
Yeah, it's about $1,100 a month more.
Difference, so it's item number, I make a motion to approve, plan number three,
$8.
plan number three,
The 365.
yes, sir.
Plan 3, Office
Yeah,
365.
365 business essentials emails,
That's what you recommended, Robert, correct?
Sir.
right?
After
And
looking
not
at it
only
all.
I recommend our vendor, where they get a network box from the ITC Corporation, Mr. May had also recommend we should go through the Office 365.
I make a motion.
Copy
Second.
order.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Thank you, Robert. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
And all
Robert,
those-
when's the deadline to take
All
that
those
test?
opposed, motion passes.
The end of this month, October
I think it's
31st,
the 23rd.
for the cybersecurity training.
On
the deadline?
security, only attach sent email, notify that. We would take the next 2 weeks. So,
I know, but when's the deadline for the two that we have right now?
Oh, it's actually, I believe.
I think it's the 23rd.
23rd.
October 23rd.
Who all, I already took mine, but who all should take it?
Do you have a report?
Everybody that works with computers.
Everybody.
Do you have a report, Jeff, of who takes it and who hasn't?
And not only that, I also assign each supervisor as team leader, so they can go with it and.
The payroll stuff for the auditor.
I'll help you.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Robert, so that motion passes. You got everything in order? Okay, hey, we got it. Oh, yeah, it's okay. We have it here. Agenda item number 18, consider payroll and bills as submitted by county auditor.
We're saving money on them. We're saving money on it.
What's that? Oh, you read that? The one you start?
We got the other,
Grubby bills, auditor.
that's the agenda.
The city was asking me this. The city asked if
Commissioners, we got three.
I move that we, pass this, agenda item number 18, as stated, we're gonna payroll and bills.
The exception from
Exception of the fund 53. I second it. Did I make the motion, Steve?
We know what it is.
Motion, I have a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion passes.
Commissioner, when I go back to item number 3, open speak, I just wanted to, I know you received a letter there from TechStars, we've been after them for a while now, and trying to recoup, some of the material they use, or rental reuse. Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, reclaim material. And, we've been after them, the judge and Michael Guerra, and with Terry Canales being Bill Terry being the,
Chairman of the.
chairman of the committee, transportation committee. So, he's helped us out quite a bit, Mr. Guerra, thank you for all the information, and Judge. And we're able to get, they haven't sent the paperwork down on exactly how much, but usually every year we get about $26,000 plus worth of furniture and wrap and stuff like that. And this year they went ahead and gave us, they're gonna allow us, $13,000 worth to be able to use it at the fairgrounds, to be able to pay one of those parking lots. And I know Mr. Garcia we were out there last week and we looked at it, and hopefully we can get out there. I'm gonna get some other trucks, if we can all get trucks.
Yeah, I don't think we can do it this year, but after the fair, we can, well, I'd like to use it, Commissioners, in the park, for the park, all those hookup trailers.
Yeah.
Right in there, especially you have all the, like last year, their trucks, that deep, out there, they were trying to park.
So I think it's just an example of what happens when we all work together, pulling from area end, attacking everybody at the state levels and getting some material in. It's very helpful.
That'll definitely, improve that groundwork out there at the fairgrounds. And I'm sure they'll be there.
One other thing, and it's right on point, because, House Bill 2840, that just went into effect September 1st, public to speak, there's been a change to that now. And so now, the public will have the right to speak on each individual item as they come up. They can speak before or during the consideration of the item. So it's no longer, you've got your one shot at the beginning of the meeting. The public's right to speak will be per agenda item. And so I'll get with Linda, and we may have to tweak the wording a little bit.
As a matter of fact, wasn't that Terry?
That was Terry, yes, that was Terry's bill. Yeah, Terry.
So that's excellent, all these little tweaks to this will help address, and it'll no longer be a problem where we have a member of the audience or
Who got here late, and,
Yeah. But it's still.
we still have some parameters, I'm sure,
Right.
to work with.
You still
can't respond though, right? They can't respond to the.
well, now that you're going,
It's an agenda. It's
now
on the agenda.
that you're going by agenda item by agenda item, yeah.
It's just.
But if it's just number 3, the public.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Mr. Guerra, for bringing that up. Anything else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion, get it for the second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Mr. Guerra, you want a picture, sir, with that,
This meeting is adjourned.
The resolution?
resolution?
No, I'd rather wait till.
Mr. Garcia?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Wonderful day, sir.
You're the, yeah, Dora.
It's, I'm gonna have to grab the name of your.
I know.
You can do a sign it over, and put what I think you want to speak about. Yeah, I signed up to.
Hi, Mary, how are you?
Good. Good.